Good evening. How are we all this evening? Just checking we're live. Yep, there we go. Right. So, hello and welcome. My name's Lisa and I'm the face behind Lisa's Loft. I'm an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator and I'm here to help you with all things papercraft. Let me just get rid of that, sorry. I run weekly classes in Cradley Heath. So if that's something you're interested in, do get in touch. If you're watching here live, please say hi or comment. And also if you're watching this on YouTube, do drop a comment. I do like to read all your comments. So yeah. So this evening, we're making scrapbook page. This afternoon, we created cards. And this week we're concentrating on the beautiful gallery suite. The two cards that we made this afternoon are these two simple cards using the DSP because it's so beautiful. Why not let that do all the work? And we're going to create a scrapbook page. So let me just switch cameras. There's the samples in the catalogue that they give you, and the suite contains two bundles, two stamp and die bundles, an embossing folder, metal embellishments, basic beige ribbon, and this gorgeous paper. It's absolutely stunning. Now, most of my scrapbook pages tend to be on basic white. But I was a bit like, you know what? Don't think that's going to work. These are the pieces of DSP that I pulled out in the colours that I thought, you know, we could use. I want to go for that greeny, grey, brown, but then just a highlight. Oh, I've got that one twice. Maybe it's for the back. Yep, it's for the back. With a highlight of that blue, maybe. But yeah, that's the colour palette that I'm going for in this. So I had a look at my two-tone 12 by 12 to see what colours I've got. And we've got a pecan pie, but I'm sort of thinking, it's a bit, isn't it? A bit dark. We don't really want to use something that dark. We have got the lighter, but no, it looks too much chocolatey. Or we've got the grey granite, which I think is quite a warm feel to add to all of those. And there is the grey granite in the papers as well, so I think that might be a good choice. We've got Mossy Meadow, but again I'm feeling that's a bit dark. And then Lost Lagoon, that really isn't in the pieces that I'm using. There is Lost Lagoon in the paper pack, just not in the ones I've chosen. So we are going to go with the grey granite for a change. If I had basic beige, I would have gone basic beige, but I don't. And I think I am going to go for the lighter of the grey granite too. So there we go. And what I'm going to do first is, I've got an idea in mind that's actually out of the annual catalogue, one of the layouts they give us. And I thought it'd be quite fun to perhaps try and recreate something like this with banners. Now I haven't got the party banners that are perfect for that, but we can cut banners, that's not an issue. So yeah, just a couple of photos and some pretty paper banners and a few embellishments. So I think first of all I need to decide what colour I'm going to back my photos with, and we'll get those in place. Now with what I'm using, I think I might actually go basic beige. I think that would possibly be a good to make them stand out rather than going darker. We'll go lighter this time. So I need 2 pieces for 4x3 photos. So I'll use these soft cuts. That's just going to be big enough, I believe. And we want them 4 1/8 by 3 1/8. So they're just that tiny bit bigger than a 3x4 photo to give us that little bit of a border. And this one at 4 1/8 by 3 1/8. Now with these, I don't, sometimes I may have photos for them, I don't today. I'm just creating a page, and then I'll fit some photos in as and when I find some that I think, oh, that actually would look good on there. Okay, so that'd be my first photo. My second photo, something like that. And then we can cut some banners. Now I have got some of those pieces, some scraps of those colours of paper that we can cut up to make some lovely banners. I'm thinking that's making it perhaps a little bit green. I think perhaps we need some other brighter or some brown in there. I've got a piece of that one, so we don't want that one. And I've got a piece of that one. See, I was thinking that would make a nice large banner, which I might use that. We haven't got that one, but it's a bit grey. Got that one. Not sure on that one too much. No, I have got that, and then we've got that. I'm thinking I want a piece of this, and then I can tie in these colours here. So I'm going to cut a strip of this. That is 2 inches. We're going to go 2 inches on there. And I'm going to go 3 1/2 maybe. 3 3/4, that's going to be too much, so we'll go 3 1/2. Just thinking. So hi Carol, thanks for joining, you remembered. Yeah, I've just chosen a grey granite base for my scrapbook page. I've gone basic beige to back my 2 photos that I will eventually pop on here, and then I've just got some offcuts of papers. I pulled what papers out I thought went together well out of this pack. Wanted to stick with flowery, landscapey, and the browns and greens. And then I've picked some that I've got scraps of, and we've just cut a bit of this. But I'm actually inspired by the layout that's in the catalogue. And this one here, thought we'd do something similar to that. So I'm going to need to banner that, but that's okay. We can have that bannered, so that'll be pretty there. Then I think we could have one of those. Did that one, and we'll have that on 1 3/4. I want it a bit smaller. 1 3/4 inches. What did I make that? 3.5. If I make that 3. You did, yes. That'll go somewhere like that. And then I want one in the middle. I quite like that in the middle. Yeah, that's that or that. Thinking that. So how wide is that? That is about 2 1/4. So we'll go 3 1/4 on that. And then I can journal on there. Hi Julie, how are you? Thanks for joining. Right, so I'm just going to have a work with what we've got here at the moment, because I can always add to. So I'm going to banner these on my trimmer. So that's 2, so 1 inch either side. And then I'm just going to bring it up about 1/2 inch to there. And then we can trim, oops, those off. From the point straight up. I said this afternoon, I'm not the best at bannering. I really do want the party banners, but I'm on a strict budget at the moment, so I can't stretch at the moment. So that's just under 2 1/4. So if we go 1 1/8, no, 1 1/16, that's about right. And again, we'll go up about 1/2 inch. You're okay, busy. You're always busy. I've never known anyone as busy as you, considering you're like semi-retired. I hope you've been busy in that craft room, Julie. That's one. And then the last one, which was 1 3/4. So we'll go 7/8, and we'll go up a bit less than 1/2 inch on that one. The sun finally came out here this afternoon. It is still nippy. I'm a bit nippy in here, which is why I've got my cardigan on. When Del came home, we did go and sit and have a cup of tea outside, so that was nice. But yeah, it's definitely not what it was, but at least it's brightened up. I've managed to dry wash in, so we're good. All right, so I'm going to have that something like that. Okay, that'll go across. So I want to decorate, do some stamping in the background. Now we've got these 2 background stamps which we can use, and also some of these, and then I will be stamping some of those to decorate with. But first of all, I want to go in with a bit of the background stamps. So I'll grab a block. I'm just doing the squiggle, and I'll go in with grey granite. And I just want to grab a piece of scrap. Probably still got it down here somewhere from earlier. Good paper. Now, because what I'm doing, I want it quite rustic looking, vintage, I'm not worried about not having my piercing mat underneath to stamp on. Because if it's not a perfect image, that's fine. And I am going to be doing second generation because I don't want it quite as dark. Hey Kat, how are you? Hope you've had a good day. So I am just going to stamp a bit of this here and there around where we've got this. Just to give a little bit of interest behind. And I'll go up there. And in there. Down here, because I will have a bit of a title down there. There we go. All right. Julie says, extra nanny day for starters. Oh, 2 aquafit sessions this week and 1 tomorrow. My gosh. Busy in the office. No crafting, sadly. Either that, other than some mosaic coasters with Austin and a couple of pals. Excellent. But kids are going away next week for a whole week, so I think I need at least 1 crafty day. Absolutely. If you're doing extra nanny duties, then you definitely deserve a crafty day. Right. I'm going to bring in the other background stamp. And I'm going to go with basic beige and see how that stamps. Because I don't want nothing too dark. That will add yeah, that'll probably dry quite nice. So I ink that up, and again I'm just going round these bits. Doesn't really give you much on the second generation, but it's okay. It just gives us a little bit of something to add in. It's mainly for texture. I can put some over the others. Right, let's see where we're at with that. Oh my gosh, tell I don't use that very often, can't you? Okay, so we've got our pictures, something like that. That one in there, that one over here, up there maybe a bit higher, and this one in the middle. Quite liking that. Now these look a little bit harsher on camera than they do in real life. I'm not going to worry. I am going to do some splattering though. So I'll move those. We'll have a bit of grey granite. And I am just going to do some splattering over, because I like a bit of splattering. There we go. And we haven't got a basic beige, so I can't do any in that one. But I don't think it needs it, to be honest. Right, I'm just going to bring in now some flowers. going to use this one, the corner, and again we'll grab a block. I've used both of that size block, and here comes my cat. I'm probably going to get interrupted by a cat, and I'm going to use grey granite again just to bring in a few flowers. Again, I'm not going to stamp this off. I am going to do this full strength. I'm going to place these, and I'm going to add it in around these. To almost border those. And so we can have that one there. And then we can have that one there. Fab. It's starting to come together, and then that will go under my title. I know what I'm trying to say. Right, and then I just want to add a couple of these little flowers. And again, I'm going to do grey granite, and I'm going to pop one along there. Whether these will actually show much once everything's where I want it to be, I'm not sure, but that's okay. If they show a little bit, it's all good. I've got some coming down and one there. Okay, I think that's that done. Oh my gosh, getting ink all over me. I think I need to put some wax or a bit of soap on there so that moves a bit freer. Right, so I am now happy with what I've got on my background, so I'm now going to add these on. I want that one raised. I don't normally raise things on a scrapbook page, but I was going to, but no, because if I'm adding flowers and whatnot, I shall want that raised. Right, so that can go somewhere around there, and that will go in behind it there. So let's pop that down. I do love this suite. I think it's absolutely adorable. I'll add this on. I mean, you can really grunge things up with it and go for a proper antique kind of look. I was going to do that the other way, but hey ho, it's stuck like that now. That's okay, not a problem. That goes over and that goes over. Slightly changed in placement. Like I say, that's fine. And then I'm just going to glue in there to glue that, because we will want our photos to go underneath, and we can still slide them in under there. Right, so I'm going to want my title here on a banner, and I'm going to have a banner of basic beige, and I've got that scrap there, which I think will be perfect to then die cut the letters out. Yeah, that's what we're going on, and I am going to add one of these little flowers up the top of there. Sometimes you just need to add a little something in. There we go. Oh gosh, just finished my tea. Okay, here's a question for you. When crafting, is it tea, coffee, or something else? Oh, banner this. So it's just over 1/2 inch. Oop, that's not holding. And we'll go just over 1/4 inch. Towel alternates between tea and coffee. See, I might have told you all this before. I was a coffee drinker. As a child, I very rarely had hot drinks other than hot chocolate or hot squash. And then it became cups of tea at tea time. Dad always had a pot of tea at tea time. But I was a coffee drinker most of the time. Julie's coffee or squash. And then I became pregnant and couldn't stand the smell of coffee. I used to have to cross the road to get away from the smell of like Costa and places like that. So we can have that on there. So I was just totally tea. Then I'd go that I'd have the occasional coffee. And now, if I'm out, I have coffee. When I'm home, it's very occasional. I have a coffee. I have to be in the mood for coffee. It's all tea. Julie says I've been limited to less than 4 cups of coffee a day. So guess we'll be 4 cups. I have, on average, 3 cups of tea in the morning before I do anything. Usually I have 2 sat on my own, sort myself out. Then I get Hayden up and I sit and have one with Hayden. But yeah, gosh, that's not many, is it, at all? Right, let's make some flowers. So I'm going to do some of these, and we're going to use it on basic beige because I think otherwise it'll look a bit odd. Right, I don't want to use the big one. I always use the big large flower. I'm not going to use that one. I'm going to use this one. Let's grab some blocks. I can use this one that's like a hollyhocks or something like that. It looks like to me. This one, something like that, or foxglove or something. I don't know. I'm not the best when it comes to flowers. And then we can use some of these. Right. And I'm going to do a bit of Mossy Meadow for this one. Because this can be just green. That'll look nice in just green. We'll do a couple of those. And then this, we're going to make green and I think it's peach pie. Yeah, peach pie or calypso coral. I think calypso coral might be a little bit in your face for it. So peach pie. And what's it gonna do? We'll see if I can. Now you can mask to get the two colours on. You can use your Stampin' Right markers. But if you go for the lighter one first and the darker, you're less likely to get, or it's not so visible if you cross-contaminate the inks. I'm not fussed if I get a tiny bit of green on my peach pie bits. It's not the end of the world. Let's try that. Oh, that's gorgeous. Love that. So I'll do that. A couple more of them. This one's quite an easy one to do, to be fair. It's not difficult. You can sort of see round, and if you use the corner of the ink pad, it's a bit easier. I'll do 3 of those. I did buy myself some root beer. I love root beer. And normally I end up paying like £2.50 a can for it, because there's only these American sweet shop type places do A&W root beer, because I prefer A&W root beer. The others are a bit odd. And there's a shop up Cradley Heath where I have my classes. Just your normal no, they're not an off license. It's like your normal corner shop, really. But because there's quite a lot of corner shops up there, they tend to have a lot of American and alternative kind of sweets in it, and they have A&W root beer. Well, I had 2 crates off them because it worked out cheaper, and I was like, why just keep coming and getting a few cans every time? I'll get them to get me a couple of crates. And yeah, 2 crates lasted me 2 weeks. So I could drink that all day, every day, but not the sugar-free one. I don't think that tastes as good. So yeah, I have to limit myself on that. Right, let's find the dies that match our stamped images. That's that one, and then where's it's on the other piece. There's some beautiful dies in this set. Some lovely frames. Okay, let's do this one first. So here, just line it up. There we go. Hope and pray that it doesn't move, because I forgot to get some tape. I will grab some tape for the next ones. But yeah, I do love my root beer. But it's one of those tastes like Dr. Pepper and that. It's a bit different. I know lots of people don't like it. The only way I can describe it is it tastes like TCP. Just some repositionable tape, which I'm taking some of the sticky off. Alright, let's pop this on here. There we go. Hold that into place there, just so it doesn't move as we run it through, or there's less chance of it moving as we run it through. That other one did move slightly, but that's okay. I'm not fussed about it being perfect. Right, There we go. That looks fab. Pop that on. Now, Julie, I know you're a scrapbooker. You've shown me your scrapbooks. Beautiful they are. But does anybody else scrapbook? Or are you cards? And do you enjoy creating 3D projects? It sounds delicious. It is delicious. Carol says, me, good. Probably enjoy smelling it if it's like TCP, not sure about tasting them. It's yummy. I'll get you some. Carol loves it all. Excellent. I started off card making. That's all I did. To a friend. And then through Stampin' Up, I got introduced to 3D projects. And then during lockdown, mini albums. And from the mini albums, the scrapbooking. And though I love making cards, I prefer scrapbooking, I think, now. I think because I've got photos that I want to put on scrapbooks and stuff, and just that I've got that many cards, you know. Julie likes all crafting. Yes, you do, Julie. You do everything. You do too much. Julie, she makes me laugh. She's a compulsive purchaser, and she buys lots. She'll go places and have a go at things and buys it all to have a go and then never does it. Now I'm just going to try on one of these with my blender pen, pulling in some of the colour and see. I think this one's nearly dried out. That one's a bit better. Let's see if I can pull some colour. Might be too dry now. Yeah, that's okay. Not to worry. We can. Oh, I like that up there, and I like that one there. And then we can add in some bits on other places. No, not on there. Do I like to add things behind? But I want to see if I can tuck that. Might have glued it too far. I can trim it. There, that's how I wanted that. Just sticking out. And then, yeah, that one like there. Perhaps chopping that off. Nope. Right, let's go with those. I like that one like that, so I'm just going to chop that off. And then that'll go in there with some dimensionals under the actual flower to pop it up. Flick it over so I'm getting it the right way. That way. That's it. And then we can pop glue down that bit. Don't want to put anything over that right hand side because it's going to be over the top of the photo, so we still need to make sure we can slip that photo in. I'm just going to get my nail slightly under there. So that'll just get, it's not going to be over the photo at all, is it? I'm on the wrong piece. I lied to you. I'm sorry. But there you go. I can stick a dimensional under there and have that up. That's that. And this one is going to be over the top. So I want a dimensional on that edge. And one on there. I need to see where it comes. There, there, and I'm going to glue that down. I like the stem and the beginning of the flower to be glued flat, even if the rest's lifted. I think it looks nice with that flat and then lifting up as it goes up the page. This one I'm going to put underneath, I think. Yep, that can go underneath there. That can stay up and then that can go flat. It's just sticking out from there. And then this I'm going to trim off up there. I'm trimming it at an angle, though I don't think it's enough. There we go. That'll tuck under there, which I like that. So I'll have that again flat and then a dimensional on that bit and a dimensional on that bit. Okay. Kicked Dale out the lounge again tonight, and bless him, the man that he usually watches isn't on, so he's probably trawling Facebook as we speak. Right, so now I'm going to do a title for on there, or shall I leave it until I actually know what photos I'm putting on? Because I will journal on there. Have I got something? I want a little something to pop on there. No. Would have been nice to have a little, maybe one of those. So I can mask off there. And then shall I use, actually that's clean. I'm just going to use the peach pie to add some of them flowers. I'm just going to get the tops of the flowers and just there, like so, just to add a few of them flowers on there. Just ties it in, breaks up that on there. Right, so that will have my total, and what I'm thinking for my total, maybe, depending, will be the alphabet a la mode, and then I'll do them in a mossy meadow over the top, like that, so they'll straddle either side of that. next what I'm thinking, now I need to get, I think it needs grounding along here, so I'm going to use, could add some twine, but that'll be fiddly now. So I'm going to use my early espresso marker, and I'm going to draw through them. Just hand drawing through them. So it'll be in and out. That'll be covered anyway by a photo. So that'd go down. And along. That's better. Okay, then that'll go under the photo. I'd go under there and off there, and that one off there. Now you probably can't see much of that, but I think it just adds to the flow of it sort of hanging. I'm happy with that. So yes, so my title will go there once I find my photos that I'm going to use it for. My journaling will be on there. I do want to add something for the date, and I'm thinking a piece of this perhaps up here that I could add the date onto, just a little strip of it. Have I got a little strip that's not too little? What's on the back? Oh, that's that one. That's too little. I don't want to cut a large piece off if I don't need to. Yeah, right, so we'll cut a piece of that, let's go 1.5 centimetres or half an inch, thereabouts, or about 2 inches. And I can just tuck that under there, and then I can write the date on there. That's it. And see, all that stamping that we did in the background, most of it is covered up, but it just breaks up the and it does look totally different on camera to in real life. It's a lot more subtle in real life. Those tend to really be bold, and they're not. Right, so is there anything else? I'm gonna add some of our pressed flower motifs, but I think I'm quite happy with that. I'm just going to dot a few of these around, and we will use all larger ones because that looks like it's on with that. I'm going to use the larger ones because we are quite a large piece. If I pop that there, it's not going to get in the way of my title. Yeah, I quite like that. It's quite sweet. I wish I had some photos for it, but I mean I have got an abundance of photos down here, but I'm not sure. Oh, Evangeline wouldn't go amiss on there, would she? I could chop her out. Oh, Halloween ones. Don't think we want Halloween. Cats, Christmas. Oh my gosh. I don't know why these are all glossy. I don't do glossy. That wouldn't look too bad on here. Okay. I don't think we want photos of me on there. Thank you. Some of them are quite terrible. Look how it all comes together. Another lovely page. Thank you, Julie. It does sometimes, you know, sometimes I struggle and I think, I'm not sure about that. I am going to trim these down and just see what they look like. Yeah, I think I'm not sure. But you just have to trust it, don't you? Just go with it. Carry on. Of course, a lot of the time, it's absolutely fine. Right, so that will cut that down to there. See, I don't think that will look too out of place on there. Why won't it? Oh, I've gone over with the glue, that's all. I can sort that. Right, let's just chop that corner. Yeah, it's just trusting yourself, isn't it? And just go for it. All right, let's see what this one. Not sure about this one, but as it's the only other one that's sort of anything like for colours. And that I've got there. We'll pop it on. I don't want anything pink and blue because I just don't think that will look right. Come on, under. That's it, she's just poking out. Right, we'll go for those on here. And then, oh, my computer's about to die. I forgot to plug it in. I'm surprised my phone hasn't died because that's plugged into my computer. Right, here we go. Can pop that there. Lift that under there. And there we go. Brilliant. That on there and lift. And the good thing is with putting glue on photos, because they've got a coating, you get more wiggle room. You'll have to do some holiday Viva España pages soon. Well, I will, won't I? Me and Julie are going off to Spain for a nice relaxing few days. So I'm going to take lots of photos and then I can document all them. So I'm going to write in my early espresso, and it was December. They were taken on different days, but they were both December 2023. They're taken in different places. One's home, the other one's my dad's. And then for a title, we can have, if it'll fit, we can go Furbies, I think. Yeah. So FURBY. And S. It will just fit right. And I'm going to do that in, that's the colour. I'm going to do that in early espresso. There's a very dark brown there, and that's what we've used for there. So a bit of early espresso. Yeah, and I will remember to use my adhesive sheets. I thought I had a chance cut, but maybe I've used it. Oh no, that's in the pack. My adhesive sheets are the older ones. We still do adhesive sheets, they're just not Sizzix anymore. Because that's how long I've had them, and I just kept forgetting to use them. And now I'm remembering. But they make it so much easier. So much easier. Alright, let's bring in our die cutter machine again. And see, everything I've done for this, I've managed with the mini machine, which is fab. I love the mini machine. I use it so much more than my large one. In fact, I only get my large one out if I need to. I was trying to be really careful and straight with these so that I could use the negative, but I can't be bothered. I need to get it done now. There we go. Alright, run that through. That away, because we're done with that. Alright. Oops. And then the rest of that's got adhesive sheet on it, ready for the next time I need to cut some out. And a B. I can place these, stick these down, and then I'll let you all get back to your day. Right, so S E I B R U F. So I don't need to put them quite so close together. Right. I'm just going to put these overhanging top and bottom, straddling over it. And by having that banner behind it, it just adds extra texture and also allows them to stand out that little bit. So, I love the alphabet Alamo dies. I think they're fabulous. They're a beautiful size, perfect for cards, scrapbooking, home decor projects. They're a beautiful size. I mean, I've still got the large letters, but I thought they were just too big for a standard size card. They're all right if you're making larger cards. I don't want the S. Underneath. But yeah, because these are skinny. Excellent. I've still ended up with it not right. It's not too bad actually. Off you come. There we go. There. Let me just move these. Is a page for this evening. Clear up a little bit so you can see a bit clearer what we've got. And it's a real simple layout from the catalogue. That was the one at the catalogue with the general banners and pictures. They've used a couple of circles which I've used and some lines underneath for journaling as well, which I haven't, but I could add that in if I wanted to. But yeah, I'm really pleased with how that's turned out. I like that. Right. Love it. Thank you, Carol. Let's switch cameras. And there we go. It's amazing how quickly an hour goes though, isn't it? Really is amazing. But yeah, things could be a lot quicker if I planned what I was doing. But I think just creating on the fly allows you to share that thought process and everything with me as well. And I think it's nice. Right. So thank you very much for joining. I hope you have a lovely weekend, whatever you're doing. Oh, we've got a bank holiday, haven't we? So have a lovely extra long weekend. Let's hope you can get lots of crafting done. I'm hoping to. I've got lots of things I want to catch up on. So yeah, don't forget, drop me a comment if you're watching this on the replay, and I'll speak to you all soon. Bye.